I refer to my groupings of paintings as networks, not as series. I think the idea of series, you know, in painting, it's invented by Monet, or he paints the haystacks at Giverny hundreds of times, same composition, through studying light. And of course, it gets absorbed and adopted by Warhol, who turns it into something quite different, and the repetition, and it becomes kind of a critical comment about materialism and commercialization. But now what's happened to it is it's become primarily a tool of commodification. And, you know, take this with a grain of salt, because, you know, I've made a living off my own work for over 2 decades. However, the art that I believe in is a source of revelation. It's not a collectible thing. It is experience-based. It's meaning-based. It's not about satisfying something purely visually. The painting here, this large-scale one, comes from a network of pieces called The Impotence of Fire. And these are taken from 2 paintings which are here in Dalmaji, Interloper and Continents Between Us. And so what I did, and this also links it up with the AR exhibition at SpaceXX, I took out the structural aspects that make up the compositions of Interloper, Continents Between Us, and I pulled them out of their context. I then took what was positive and made it negative. Like I bleached that, you know, the structural parts from having a presence and created absence. And from those kind of constituent parts, the Impotence of Fire paintings were made. And the Impotence of Fire, the title comes from this conversation I had with my father-in-law, where he remembers as a young man in his 20s, when he was looking for work in Seoul, how people who owned orphanages were really, really successful. Financially, they were super successful. They drove very nice cars. They wore a lot of gold jewelry. They were like American rap stars or something. I mean, you know, they were very successful. And he also remembers that they started to burn. And they started to burn down in alarming frequency. So in my research and development for this show, because the orphanage I was adopted out of, Star of the Sea in Incheon, is located in Incheon. You know, in the mid-70s, late 70s, there were 20 active orphanages in Incheon. So it gives you kind of an idea of the scale. Now there are 2, you know? And so this idea of how so many stories, and if you think about fire, you know, and its usage, it's used by like invading armies to sack cities, you know, to wipe out the existence of what was there before, and fire provides a moment of reset.